Saturday Showdown. Nongshim Red Force versus Kiwoom DRX.
Irrelevant. It's about just being there, you know? It's just absolutely beautiful. Okay, let's see whether Kiwoom DRX can do it, though. Right now, they do have first pick. That is not going to change. Oh, actually, no, never mind. They have switched sides. So this could be the opportunity that they're looking for in order to get something more powerful. But, I mean, the jungle picks are kind of all open. That's why we're seeing the Jarvan and the Pantheon both banned away. Xin Zhao is another one that is still up and available. Maybe Kiwoom DRX just get rid of that as well. Willer is like, well, we're playing the weird picks this time.
Rise ban makes sense, especially with the Orianna Azir gone. It's interesting we're keeping the Jarvan ban, because I speculated that was kind of just because Orianna was taken. I mean, Jarvan is high priority, don't get me wrong, but not really a pick that we've seen banned that much overall. It tends to be just picked early on, but a limited amount of times it's been banned, but they are opting to remove that one. Obviously a pick that Gideon has had a good amount of success on.
Wow, they are going to...
Heavy on the jungle bans. Triple jungle ban here, so a lot of respect towards Gideon, which is interesting considering that he just won the last game playing Kha'Zix, who isn't really at the forefront of the meta right now compared to, you know, these three, who are very much the staples we've had for a long time. So.
Watch him just lock in Talon and just do the same thing again.
That would be pretty funny. That being said, something to take into account, a lot of picks have been left open that were banned last time. Actually, not that many, to be fair.
Yeah,
I mean,
Bard.
Bard and Varus are the two.
Yep.
So, will it just be a Varus first pick here? No. Looks like they're going to go towards the Annie.
It's so weird to ban 3 junglers and then not pick a jungler. To me. That's what I would expect that they'd take the next thing on the tier list.
The 4th denial?
Yeah, that's what I was kind of considering. But instead, Yukal is just going to be playing a bear and a little girl. And we'll see how that one goes. As Loki, plenty of options into the Annie. It's not necessarily a pick that you want for lane, though. Certainly more about setup and things like that. Let's see what Hanj and Brion have for us.
Brutal laning yesterday, though, with the Annie into Galio. So
that's true. A little bit different when it's Chovy.
Yeah, Aurora, I think one of the picks that can actually do pretty good in this matchup. So I'm not too surprised to see that one come through. Do we see the Varus picked up here for Hanj and Brion? Do we see a jungler taken? Wukong syncs really well with the Annie, so maybe you could deny that. Could also lean towards the Vi if you want to have Vi. Aurora, just for some really solid lockdown.
What about Ivern? Now that LS is back, it's all about his win rate is way too high, and everyone should play him.
Lee Sin. Ivern.
The other Ivern.
Yeah.
Got it. All right, Wukong going to be the lock here, as you were talking about, feeling like it's relatively high up there, but Gideon did get his first choice, as there is a Gnar blind. I mean, this reminds me of like a couple of years ago, except they decided not to pick the Rakan. You know, this is like actually by a couple, I mean last year, as the Fries Group special could be absolutely demonstrated here by Kiwoom DRX.
I mean, it is pretty straightforward. Looks like Varus will come through. This was kind of the last chance to grab it before you go second rotation. So a longer range pick that can operate at a distance, but at a mobile. So definitely under threat if they can get on top of you. Now into the bans. I think probably just get rid of the Varus just to play it safe. Rakan, Wukong, a massive threat.
Yeah.
Especially when you have it a mobile backliner. So.
There's also the Bard still up and available, so maybe that's something that Kiwoom DRX want to get rid of.
Yeah, there's also Ashe Seraphine as well, which on top of the Wukong is pretty devastating. There's a lot of power in the bot lane that Kiwoom DRX can have available. There's also Yanara Lulu. What we're trying to say is there's a lot.
There is.
I think one thing to take into account is what is going to be able to lane effectively against the Varus, but they are concerned it could be a Varus top lane, hence the Caitlyn ban, which we did see earlier in the LCK.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, if you're considering the prospect of it being a Varus top lane and you're playing Gnar, I think you're already in such a bad spot.
Well, there's that Bard we were talking about. I was actually thinking that Hanj and Brion were going to look towards the Bard, but they're going to ban that one away, not wanting to give Andal the opportunity to play that. And one more ban to be thrown out here by Kiwoom DRX, and it will be a cannon to avoid that being the option into the Gnar.
They're hedging their bets a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
where the Varus could be. Maybe they gave ideas. Maybe casting wasn't going to play Varus, and then he's like, hey, wait a minute.
I could.
Yeah.
It's a great idea. Well, Nautilus is going to leave things up in the air if they do decide to lock this one in for Namgung.
Oh, they're keeping it as a flex, really just threatening in this situation. It does give a lot of information, though, to KRX in terms of, because I think the support pick very important to know when you're opting into your 2v2 and what you want to play there.
Do you know what's the really good thing? They've played Anivia already.
Yeah.
And so the Nautilus doesn't need to worry about having the saddest matchup of all time.
Yeah, don't have to deal with that.
Lazy Feel and Andal are having a big giggle at the moment, and it's worrying me.
So...
All right, Callista it is.
Callista Renata going to come through. Okay.
I mean, pretty good into a Nautilus lane, I guess.
Good into Nautilus. I don't think fully fits with what that comp wants to do in terms of like comp wants to go in, and Renata's not necessarily the best for that, but I still think can work pretty well.
Jigs?
Honestly, this could be a pretty great Ziggs angle.
And Teddy really does like playing Ziggs. Pretty good into the Callista like you were talking about. She was buffed a little bit on this patch, a little bit more Ren damage or something like that.
Yeah, more AD ratio on the subsequent spears on the Ren. So she's pretty strong in the AD skirmishes.
Oh, that's an Ambassador. I was riding in Ziggs.
Oh, man.
Oh.
You know, I think I would have preferred the Ziggs.
Me too.
And I'm not biased. I am biased, but if I say I'm not biased, that negates it, right? I think the bot lane matchup, I think the Nautilus is going to have a bit of a tough time. They have this Annie Wukong for a lot of strength. Yeah, I think ultimately KRX, you know, they kind of drafted some things that it feels like they have this sort of stronger skirmishing power around the bot side, and also teamfight should be pretty straightforward with the Annie Wukong. But the other side for Hanjin Brion, you know, Gideon on this Lee Sin, if you can just start getting some momentum on this pick, you have decent setup, right? In the bot lane, you have 2 champions that can easily land that CC.
We love you too. Man, just everyone's a bro fan today. It's just so incredibly cool. Hi. Hi, everyone. Man, what a time to be an LCK Global commentator / person. It's just the goodest.
It is. It's pretty good.
I also really loved the little capybara Lazy Feel. That was absolutely adorable.
His emote is so good in game.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's one of the best.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. It is time to see whether KRX can bring us to 3 games as it was written, as it was promised.
Yeah.
Could work on the coordination there a little bit. I also apologize to bro fans. I spoke over a little bit of the fan chant because I got a little bit overexcited. These things happen. KT's playing later. You know how it is.
Oh, the KT fans are going to come for you now.
Yeah, but they're not watching. They're busy, you know. They need to prepare themselves for the series coming up.
Rituals, divine rituals.
Yeah, exactly. Goth Annie, by the way. This is a bit of a throwback skin. It's been a while. I'm a bit of a fan.
They updated it, so it looks kind of like the, you know, the Nautilus Renata line of skins, which unfortunately neither of them are playing, so... You know what I'm talking about, like the Halloween-themed ones. Well, like the Nautilus has the big...
Yeah, like the big, the Chandelure skin line.
Yeah, the new Goth Annie, since they updated Annie's visuals, does kind of look like it fits with that vibe.
I do really like the stun animation swirly. It is very cool.
Yeah. So, I think there's a lot of picks in this game that are very momentum-based. So, getting off to an early start going to be pretty important. Teddy's got Halo Blades, Varus, so still going for the poke, but having a bit more sustained DPS.
Well, it's actually pretty cool. I kind of like the Halo Blades angle into a Callista lane, especially.
Yeah. They also, something they did with Varus, because they did nerf his Q-AD ratio, they added an AD ratio to his Blight, like his on-hit. So honestly, if you have a bit of attack speed from Halo Blades, you get a lot more value from that than you did before.
It's pretty cool.
Nothing to write home about, but getting a couple of autos in when you, and obviously proccing it is a good amount of damage. Although obviously with this build, most of what you're doing is just poking from a distance. Gideon was fishing there, trying to find an angle, but nothing really came to fruition.
Ooh, casting. And a little aggressive here towards Rich, as he does get his good old shield.
You know,
and are obviously not exactly incredibly happy to fight up close and personally with an Ambessa.
I'm kind of sad that we got the Ambessa, but it wasn't in jungle, just because of how pumped he would have been.
That's what I was thinking about as well. Namgun goes in, and still taking a bit of damage here, but Teddy not exactly feeling the greatest, and it looks like KRX able to turn this one around. A little bit of Ren damage, but not exactly the most.
I will say
there is a monkey coming down.
I think... Oh dear. This is diveable. He's going to TP back in. I think this should be okay.
Will he stick around if there is a teleport coming on in? Looks like Teddy is deciding not to. Realize that wave is probably not something that he's able to pick up anyway.
Okay, plays it safe. Oh, they're looking mid, maybe? Gideon's been doing a lot of looking.
Yeah, he's been backing in strange places.
Yeah.
I kind of respect it.
So, I mean, the threat of a dive with the Renata is always very real. That trade they had earlier, I think Teddy was just backing off under the fear that potentially a dive could happen, but did end up burning both barrier and heal from KRX's bot lane in trade for just heal. Obviously, Teddy having that TP means they are down a combat summoner, so I don't think it's too bad overall.
Yeah, Gideon did manage to get through and steal some stuff away, so that's pretty good for the Lee Sin, but triple longsword back, and speaking of going back, Loki going to be doing the same thing, down to 200 health, should be teleporting back into this lane as well. And we have pings out onto exactly where Willer is as well, so Hanjin Breon, good tracking of the enemy jungler. But as we can see here, I mean, you were talking about momentum-based champions. I think KRX is the team that want to be playing around it the most in this game, and so far so good on that front. Winning out in especially top and bottom lane quite a lot, but kind of everywhere. They just have more, even though we cannot necessarily see it in the numbers right now, as we've gone a little old school when it comes to the UI. And I actually kind of like that, you know, because this is bro and brew. I feel like it's vintage.
Yeah.
You know? And so we really shouldn't have the fancy new UIs with all of its stats and numbers and things.
Reminds you of simpler times.
Yeah.
Annie on a little bit of a hot streak at the moment.
Kind of crazy. I wasn't expecting this. As Bear comes down, maybe I should have been expecting it, because right now, looking pretty good. Damn, Tibbers looks dope with this skin.
Yeah.
Look at him go.
I remember some of those games, for sure. Obviously, the most recent one being Chovy playing it. It's a great success.
Yep.
And the pick did get some buffs. That kind of pushed it back on the meta, but also just being
public execution comes down. Rich, not much of an R-bar right here, as that's a lot of damage after casting. In the meantime, though, we're having a look at this bottom side of the map and the mid lane, as Gideon's discovered by Willa and Yukal between worlds. Does come down from Loki, but he misses. And, flash forward, and there's first blood in exactly the same time as that one going through as well. Pyroblast comes on in, but Gideon's able to answer, and my goodness, 4 kills in the blink of an eye, 2 for 2.
Absolute chaos, and we end up seeing Hanjin Breon winning out in the mid jungle with some clean execution, very close down to the wire there, but it is the bot lane of KRX who win out in the 2v2. Hard for the Nautilus to play this one out, and just not the sustained damage there, really, to kill out a Kalista Renata, so I'm not sure how that came to be, but I'm sure we'll get some replays.
Yeah, that was fun. It was a little bit difficult to commentate, not going to lie, because we were bouncing between multiple lanes the entire time, and that may continue here.
Oh, there's a Hex Flash.
Yep, Yukal. Namgung is just going to Hex Flash.
That
and
was not...
walk back again.
You know what? We are such big propagators of Hex Flash propaganda, but that really did not sell it.
It was not the best. The best thing about Hex Flash, though, is that you can just do it again.
Yeah.
Pretty quickly.
Just run it back.
There, see? See what I'm saying?
Yeah, that also...
Look at how many Hex Flashes he can do.
Hex Flashes per minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not really achieving much with them.
Do you know what he achieved? Hex Flashing, okay? Didn't do it there.
Yeah.
and then proceeded to die, I guess.
See, the issue with this is you see an opportunity to land your CC onto Callista, but you just don't have the damage to kill Callista. And even if you did, she'll just stack up a million spears and then rend and then revive with Granada. So
Yeah.
not ideal. Here, this was a very risky engage from Gideon, but Loki comes in quickly to back up, and then Loki just knows the damage limit, gets the cooldowns back in.
What the heck is happening in live? There was a solo kill in the top lane as well as Gideon gets his hand shaken, but it wasn't exactly the nice kind.
This is the least bro and brew game
Yeah, what is going on?
we've ever had from these two teams. This is just breakneck pace right now.
Nothing gentleman about this at all.
No, we aren't allowed to have replays. This is both teams like, look guys, we need to get ahead early.
Somewhere Wolf is like, we're in replay purgatory and I can't handle it.
Yeah.
And by somewhere, I mean he's at the space saying exactly that. I imagine he said it moments before.
Okay, so solo kill top, we get that first. I'm assuming it's Mega timing out. Hextech getting a lot of damage down already, and he was just having pressure in this lane.
Ah, he just ulted him and Rich died.
Wow. Well, that
There you go.
clip didn't need much casting. Casting kind of did it himself.
Look at the Hex flash value! Oh, that flash from
is fun.
Andal was so cute.
And then the kick out the way.
Oh my goodness.
That was some cute interactions, honestly.
They're cute on both sides.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for KRX, the cuteness didn't actually work out in the end, as it was Lazyfield that did die, but he still has a decent CS lead at this point. And so I think their composition will still function as we get towards the mid-game. The problem is they are behind a bit of gold now. And there is this Ambessa situation as well.
Yeah. A little bit worrisome.
Andal is getting information, everyone. All of the information.
Guys, enemy mid laner is around mid.
Yes. Can confirm. And they're like, we know. They just cleared out a ward. He's like, yeah, but I really know because I'm here. All right, casting. Not going to quite... Oh, never mind. Turn it around towards Rich here. He's dancing, though. We'll get that hyper proc. So the Gnar is at least still doing what it's supposed to, even if it does appear that this lane is more difficult than he would have otherwise expected.
How many total minutes of pain do you think top laners have suffered at the hands of Gnar?
Or
do we go into like
exceptionally large amount of minutes?
Like decades, millennia?
I think it's probably weeks.
I think it's more at this point.
Total time?
Total years.
Oh
suffered.
yeah, and there was a like before Fearless as well. It was like every game there was a Gnar, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe.
I mean, it depends if we're speaking just in the LCK or globally, just in pro or
probably months. It's at least months.
Yeah.
And probably multiple, like large amounts of months. Yeah, it's a rough one. Casting is able to get a little bit of respite, though, into it. That solo kill that did come on out as Hallow Mountain Dragon. And Hallow heads up display. We have our UI back. Welcome back. And all right, possibly another fight as there is the anchor connecting. Teleport to come on forward here as we have elected to go for a big old battle. Decent hostile takeover comes in as Andal immediately dies, but there's a Cyclone to take down Teddy. Teleports from everyone as Casting with all that money will come through to take down Lazyfield. UCal dead as well. And there is the public execution. Casting does not want a 3-gamer, I don't think.
Casting TPing in with the Eclipse as well. This champion is so strong in this spike. Just feels so good to be able to fly and just take over. And that's the difference maker. Rich doesn't have the TP available. Will knock Teddy into a wall, but I don't think he's really that bothered.
Yeah, he did lose half of his health bar, so it probably says that was, you know, wasn't very nice of you.
I think what's a little bit sad here is that, honestly, KRX could have just opted out of this. Lazyfield could have continued to walk away and just ulted Andal out.
Yeah.
And they would have been able to disengage from the fight, but they TP'd in, they committed, knowing they couldn't match the top lane TP, and knowing that this Ambessa is incredibly strong. So I think the setup from Hanjin Brion was
Yeah, Coach Song's pretty psyched about what's going on here.
I think the setup from Hanjin Brion was good, but I think KRX opting into the fight and taking the handshake was an absolute mistake.
But if you've got a Renata on your team, I mean, you're all about taking the handshake.
True.
You know, that's how it's going to go.
You know,
back-to-back Hextech souls?
Hanjin and Brion are always gentlemen, so I think handshaking with them, I can never really fault it.
And it is double dragon for KMDRX as well, so that is certainly good news. That's moving in favor of the 3-gamer, which, you know, we've been promised. Gideon also going to get pushed away, although he's able to get the smite, so we'll at least get most of the camp. Rich deals with the little ones. Crystalline Overgrowth going to be eaten there by Casting, who has 1,000 gold in the lead.
So you remember this top lane matchup wasn't going too well?
Yeah.
Casting is now on a huge spike. It just picked up a boatload of gold from that teleport. Hey, but
Rich hit level 11.
Rich has a phage.
Hey, true.
That axe.
Yeah.
Yeah, neat. He also has that glowing moat.
Yeah. Oh, no. Not the fairy in a bottle. Oh, it always feels sad, doesn't it? There's a bit of a gnaw back underneath the turret. Casting is wondering whether it even hit him.
Yeah.
As he just ate it with the shield.
That's the nice thing as well.
And Eclipse.
So Rich hit level 11, but Casting hit level 11. And Casting gets free armor pen just for skilling his ultimate. So even though he doesn't use his ultimate, he's just doing more damage.
You're making a little bit of a release date assessment, are you not?
A little bit, you know, just a tad. That being said, Annie gets that too now, despite being an old champion, but got a little bit of a changeroo.
Well, having a look now, as he was considering throwing a bear at Loki. Loki's instead going to start things off with a bit of an ult his own self, as Q going to get flashed. Nicely done from Yukal, but not going to be winning out on the trade as he does save Tibbers at least. And Rich feeling like he wants a fight, but I don't know whether he really does. There's a public execution to come on down. Mega Narbar is pretty good here from Rich, who will have that one charged up. Casting still looking aggressive as he shoves that wave underneath the turret once again. Okay, Orcs, I'm feeling like this is just going the way of game one, once again. We need a turnaround from KMDRX. They need to do something.
Well, actually, in game one, Rich was winning top lane, so...
so never mind, they're going to win this time, because he's losing top lane.
Yeah, I mean, they had that going for them at least. But also, Hanjin and Brion had the dragon lead, so KMDRX have that in this time. Oh, it's orange buff.
Okay, yeah, he's just going to get kicked, and he's really dead. Gideon able to tank up that turret as long as he would like. They had enough minions in order to take that one down, and I think this turret is not long for the world as well. Hanjin and Brion are looking at increasing this lead to about 4,000 at 15 minutes into the game.
Yeah, and so last game, I was kind of like, well, Kha'Zix is monster fed, but Kha'Zix is conditional. You know, they have to be isolated. There can be some fights who doesn't get value. You know, the gold was even between the teams at one point. It was just Kha'Zix who was fed. That's not the case here. Everyone is ahead.
Yeah.
Everyone is strong. You know, you have a team with like a Callista who's behind. Doesn't feel too great.
Yeah, the comeback mechanics are not exactly massive. Outside of just group everyone up and hit all of your CC at the same time, like that could still potentially work.
Just all your CC, explode them, get the next 2 dragons. That's the game plan right now for KMDRX to get to game 3, which obviously we're hoping for.
Well, I mean, it's what we were promised, you know?
I feel like I'm just going to be hit on a level.
Yeah.
This streak being broken, sometimes streaks being broken is fun, you know, when teams are due. But this felt like an achievement to have just maintained it for so long.
I mean, there is also the LCK Cup sort of revenge that Hanjin and Brion are getting here as well, because they did not win a series the entire time, and I believe they lost to DRX twice.
Yeah. But the thing is, they could still get that by winning 2-1. You know?
That's a really good point. That is a really good point. I mean, this gets them very close to the same scoreline as Gen G, though.
You said the Hilly as well. You sound so amazed.
I know.
Every time you
And in fact, they will have exactly... They will be tied. Tied 3rd place. Isn't that ridiculous? And it's going to remain the case because KT and Nongshim are facing off. That's 1 and 2, right?
In fairness, Hanjin and Brion haven't lost a game to the LEC this year. In fact, I can't remember the last time Hanjin and Brion lost a game to the LEC.
I think they're undefeated.
undefeated?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. It's crazy to say it, but it's true. Public Execution avoids the Gnar, and Casting even gets out of the way of the house as well. How do you dodge a house? He's now looking for the 1v2? Okay, I mean, the ulti's now on cooldown, but there's a teleport in. Between the worlds goes Loki, and there is no turret left. The Q is going to miss, though. Let's see. They should be able to kill Rich, but they're also going to try and kill Willer as well, and down he'll go. The kick into the wall from Gideon was beautiful, and yeah, they tried to kill Casting, and Casting said no.
He's just so strong. He already has the Spirit Shojin.
Oh my God.
He's so strong, and, you know, it's hard to really fault them for trying to go for a play like that to get back in the game, but immediately you saw that just going wrong, and then the cavalry show up, and it's just like, okay, now we're really, really in the hole.
Yeah, we're
okay,
grasping at straws right now.
We have Mega now, we have Wukong, we have CC. The buffer from the ult from Casting is good. Well, it's like, I'll go in, and then the damage starts coming through, and he's like, oh no. Yeah. And by the way, when I say the damage, I only mean onto KRX DRX. Casting is not taking damage.
No. Well, I mean, KRX are at least here on this dragon.
Oh, they're stacking Rens. They might get this.
Yeah. All right, Hexgate going to bring Loki on in. There's the flash from LazyField. They're diving onto Casting. It is going to be the steal. Hostile takeover just for some zoning, and there is the shutdown onto the Ambessa. Still, Hanjin Brion doing some damage, but it is a kill back in favor of KRX. The problem is, dragon stacking has stopped.
Yes, they kind of forgot about the dragon, and I get it, right? Don't get me wrong. They saw the threat of Casting on the flank, and they're like, look, if he gets in here, we might get wiped. And 3 dragons, if you can't get the 4th, is irrelevant. But it feels really bad that they kind of just moved off the dragon and didn't really find an opportunity to secure it. I'm wondering if maybe they could have just left one person. I don't know if they... I think they moved everyone off the dragon. They just didn't stand a chance. Maybe Willow was still there. I'll have to see in the replay.
It was definitely LazyField that left, and he's the one that had a lot of the Rens in there.
Not having the Rens was a big deal. I'm not sure if Willow did move as well immediately. We'll see in the replay. So...
yeah, Willow wasn't actually...
Willow's still on it, yeah.
Yeah. So
okay, so it's just a 50-50. Okay, fair enough. I mean, I think if they had the Ren there, they definitely secure it. I think it's not the worst move, though, if I'm being honest. I think it just comes down to that. Can you outsmite? They lose. But they manage to get a kill and don't lose the fight.
Casting misses the ultimate this time around, and Rich lands his. However, Gideon going to make his way down. He misses his Q. House connects, and maybe this time it's going to work. The wallop comes through. There's the Cyclone, and up into the sky goes Casting. Down he is once again. And if at first you don't succeed, just do the same thing again and win.
Yeah.
Oh, 3 games, baby. It's happening. I can feel it.
You know, we got the Triumph Spike coming in from the Callista as well. Big moments. But yeah, so nice little dodge there. Slam into the wall. And then Gideon even seems to get here first, but misses the Sonic Wave. And then they're like, okay, let us just kill the Ambassador.
Yeah, Gideon realizes that he has to get out. Nice.
Okay, getting a little bit messy from Hanjin Brion, or alternatively, getting a little bit generous. Depends
well, they are gentlemen, as we know.
Yeah.
I like to think that it is indeed generosity. This game was getting a little bit too snowbally, and they'd prefer it to retain some drama. And that is precisely what's happening, as Wallop and Gnar does provide some space for Rich, hops out of the way of the Sonic Wave, as there's the dredge line connecting, Namgung making his way in. They need the damage to get here as well, and there it is. Teddy going to help out, and it will be the kill going over to Gideon.
Yeah, you know, try to make the escape again, but not really an opportunity there with all the follow-up, and the Nautilus being able to provide the CC. There's been a lot of action around this bot lane in the past few minutes.
Yeah. Teddy with a bit of a lead as well. As you can see, has a couple of items complete. Serpent's Fang very early on here to make sure that those shields are not going to be as relevant, as Loki will be backing away. The Aurora in a side lane can be quite frustrating with her extra mobility. And that's a flash in from Teddy. Finds a Chains of Corruption onto LazyField, but it's not enough damage to actually get the kill.
Okay. I think as KRX DRX, you are very happy with that, as now Teddy is flashless, and...
I'm impressed, though, that Teddy went for it. You know? I don't think it was a very good idea at all.
If there was any follow-up, that was a kill.
There's a lot of gusto.
Yeah. I respect the play, but just didn't really have the setup to make it happen. But now, it's a minute 15 till Dragon. Teddy is flashless. You have your Annie Wukong to potentially threaten that, so... You know, KRX DRX, it's only a 6,000 gold deficit.
Yeah.
Last game, Kha'Zix alone had that much of a gold lead at some point, so...
Very true. And this time, I mean, Gideon only has close to a 2,000 gold lead. So way, way better, right?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. KRX DRX, 48 seconds on this Dragon. Still an opportunity for that soul point they were looking for earlier. Lazy Feel, like you say, did make it to 2 items. He's got a Warden's Mail now as well, which is kind of fun. And casting is still a huge problem here on this top side of the map. 2,000 gold in the lead, highest lead in the game. But Andel's ahead by 100 gold. So, I don't know. Sounds, even if Fate's Call comes down. Okay, let's see whether they can find the angle. As Namgung, he's going to be the choice as hostile takeover comes in. Wow, the burst damage out from this Annie is just massive as he gets rid of the Varus. Lazyfield trying to bounce around the fight as Loki should give him the bailout, and there it is. Yukao likely to be falling and will get taken down, but casting is now very low. He flashes in to take out Lazyfield, but he is still going to fall. And now Gideon is running the wrong direction, and the rest of KRX DRX are chasing him down. They will be able to collect it there with a hyper proc out of Rich. And this is almost an ace for KRX DRX. I told you, Ox! It's 3 games!
We were promised! And we knew that Hanjin Brion would be generous enough, but
exactly.
This team fight, the engage comes in, and honestly, Lazyfield gets so much value on the back of the Renata. Yukao, that lack of flash from the Varus. Teddy paid for it dearly.
Yeah.
Lazyfield survives the reset from the Renata and is able to kill Loki for that. And even though casting gets like a good amount of value in this re-engage, just not quite able to survive long enough. And you've already lost your Varus, you've already lost all your carries at this point. I think just in this extended fight, running out of damage. I think losing that flash, that play from Teddy, that is like the linchpin of this entire passage of play, because if he has that available, he can get to just circumvent the Annie.
Yeah, and now, Soul Point. So Hextech Soul is available for KRX if they are able to get the next Dragon, as Teddy at least finds the Piercing Arrow. Chains of Corruption does go wide, though. Teddy's all about pressing long cooldowns as often as he possibly can.
Yeah.
We'll almost have that flash up and available pretty soon, as Andal taking some damage here as well. It is 3.5 items for the Varus. He is a little bit scary. But Lazyfield as well. He's getting tankier and tankier with 3 items almost on the way. Only down 1,000 gold. And Willer as well has really cut that lead down that Gideon had put together for himself. His first death of the game, in fact.
This Hanjin Brion composition is very bursty. You know, if you start to get to the point where you're quite durable as the Kalista, and they don't manage to connect everything onto you, you can just survive.
It's going to be basically triple bruiser, isn't it? With like Na, Wukong, Kalista, all of them being bruisers.
Yeah.
And so bursting them down will be tough.
I mean, it wasn't that tough when you had, you know, a 6,000 gold lead.
Yeah.
But you don't anymore.
It's been halved. Okay. Hanjin Brion, you still have a lot more money than your opposition. But the tempo vibes, man, they have shifted. That's Randuin's complete here for Lazyfield. And I am worried for Hanjin Brion's ability to close this game out, but I am enthralled and excited that we will get multiple games. Oh dear. Gideon was trying to play the game, and he was then not allowed to. Hostile takeover holds him in position, and there is the GA getting popped. Teddy does find the Chains of Corruption, flashes out of the way from the Tibbers as Gideon, in fact, gets out of there. Willer is trying to escape as Loki will be able to get on top of him, but they take down the jungler, and Teddy just explodes. Yukao, so much damage right now as he's looking for an Incinerate angle. And Loki and Namgung, the only ones left standing, and it's another team fight win here for KRX DRX.
Gideon just goes wandering in the enemy jungle and ends up going down, and now some big cooldowns not going to be available for that dragon fight. On top of the mid tower, just going to get taken down here.
Yeah. You can see Lazyfield just bouncing around the fight. Tibbers as well. Oh, dies to the turret. That's 50 gold that just goes wanting.
Didn't quite have the damage, but you saw Loki was waiting out the Celestial Opposition for the reactivate, and I was like, maybe. But so on this replay, Gideon just base checks his Mega Gnar and just dies. I'm not sure if he didn't have a ward available, but just kind of keeps walking in. Losing the GA, a big cost. This ult from Andal, great. Even uses Namgun's auto to set up the route. And then they jump onto Lazyfield, but it's only really casting, hitting the Calista, and you know it's hard enough to kill the Calista for the bailouts there too.
Look at that Randuin's value as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a little bit sad that Randuin's has like anti-crit. There's 0 crit on Hanjin Brion, but...
Well, at least he knows he's definitely not getting crit this game.
Absolutely. There you go. So if anyone's saying anything about the anti-crit, it's just definitely no critting is going to be happening.
I think some big costs. Obviously, lost a lot of gold from that fight, but also Teddy lost Flash again. Gideon down GA. And Teddy's just not getting to play these fights. Yukal's just exploding him. Yeah. And his Flash is about to come back up. So I'm expecting Flash Tibbers again.
And then it's going to be Hextech Soul, right? Like, it's under a minute until that Dragon's up and available. And right now, KRX have all the momentum and the cooldown advantage.
I wonder if Teddy's regretting not having gone Edge of Night in this situation.
He might be putting it on the shopping list right now.
Well,
I would recommend it.
The Hextech Soul fight in 40 seconds, so
yeah.
Not sure you'll get time.
He's not nicking down to the shops right now, as Yukal does find the bear onto Loki, but not a massive amount of damage. Does avoid Namgung as he does dash cannon out of the way, but that is an Annie looking a little worse for wear. Man, these piercing arrows are really starting to hurt from Teddy. And Hanjin Brion do take control of the river, reminding KRX that the bros still have a little bit of an advantage. Public execution brings casting in, but that is the Fate's call to make sure that Andal stays alive. Ulti for ulti is going to be the trade, but it's still river control here for Hanjin Brion, as Rich does hit that Mega Gnar, wanting to try and force a fight off the back of that. And they will be able to at least get control of this area. House goes down, casting able to dash his way out, but these houses just keep getting collected. And there's the Cyclone to get that double knock-up. Willow, though, is going to get kicked back and stays alive. Casting's the one that goes down. Gideon gets jumped on by the now Mini Gnar. And Rich pretty happy about it as well, as you can see. Lazyfield starting to pop off in the fight, playing frontline on the Collectors. Oh my god! That is so much damage out of Loki and Hanjin Brion. They still have a mid laner. And Loki reminds them Rich is now able to try and go in. He helps take down Teddy. I don't know whether it was necessarily worth it, as Hanjin Brion will grab themselves this dragon.
What a crazy fight. Hanjin Brion managing to turn it around.
We need KRX to win this game, though, because we need more of this.
So this ends up being a pretty heavy overchase. They commit after the flash from casting. They keep going. They do manage to get him in the end. But they step forward, and the big takeaway here is Teddy's ult comes up. It just comes up. Now he fires it, it chains, it spreads, and then they go back in, the piercing arrow into two ults, and the damage combo of Teddy and Loki was just massive there. And up until that point, it looked like, I mean, the last few fights as well, everything was going KRX's way. That one overstep into the Varusol that just came available turns everything on its head, and now Hextech Soul denied for the time being, but the game is still in such a delicate spot.
Oh, it really is. 4,000 gold is the lead here for Hanjin Brion, but it was bigger before. Handshake comes through. Namgung is not going to be too worried about it for the moment. Celestial opposition was indeed there. He is now down, as piercing arrow just barely going to miss. So having a look at some of these flash values, Lazyfield will have his up relatively soon. And otherwise, it's just Rich that's going to have his soon as well. Gideon still has Kick Flash available, and Teddy has Flash again, which is crazy.
But no.
I almost choked because I was like too excited about Teddy having Flash again.
I think that's another thing with the last fight. They're starting the fight.
Wait.
Yukal flashing on a Loki.
He bought it, by the way, Ox.
He got the Edge of Night. Definitely a high value purchase now. But Yukal started last fight with the attempted engage on Loki, which Loki used the Invis to dodge. But I think, you know, that was obviously not ideal, being such a powerful cooldown and not really getting the result from it. And I think that's really what allowed that fight to extend so long. So UCAL doesn't have the flash right now. Maybe it's something they want to wait for to have that setup, because both Willa and UCAL being flashless makes it really hard to set up. And you saw when it's extended, when you're chasing, if you do overstep into a lot of that burst damage, it can just explode. So squish your targets.
Exactly right. So, KRX poking their head in around this Baron. See whether that's possibly an inroad. I don't think it necessarily is. As LazyFeel, he's got his wits end complete. Still feeling pretty tanky on this Kalista. As Teddy with that Edge of Night shield, but I don't think he's protecting this turret. That one will be taken down. The gold lead shrinks ever more. 2.5 minutes on this next dragon. Once again, sole opportunity for KRX, and bro, they can equalize it. They can get towards a soul point of their own. And then Teddy is going to be ludicrously strong. I don't think Hextech Soul Varus needs much introduction. That is a frightening prospect.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, if we're being honest, likely just a game winner, whichever team manages to secure it.
Well, let's just hope that Hanjin Brion gets the next one, so that we're in suspense for as long as possible. That's the goal. Although we don't really want that to happen, because then it's likely that it's a 2-0, and we really don't want that. Man, it's so hard to know.
So demanding.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, I'm trying to work out, like, you know, where my bias lies. You know. As all right, LazyFeel possibly in trouble, although he's able to hop his way out of it.
Okay, we have kind of just stalled the game out. This next dragon fight, a lot of flashes have come back up available. All of KRX, Casting and Loki, a little bit more time before they have those. Someone needs to try and pop that spell shield on Teddy. You can see some fishing going on. LazyFeel was trying to get it with the...
that dredge line's been working out, man. It's way skinnier than I remember. That's crazy.
Yeah, definitely seen those hit before.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, they need a spell shield down from Teddy. And to set up an angle so that UCAL can reach him is the ideal. He's getting some good poke down.
Yeah.
But it feels like KRX have kind of moved it and taken over a lot of the vision around mid lane right now.
Well, Casting's in this bottom lane. Does have teleport up and available. Loki's going to be pushing out the top side.
It's just good timing to be dealing with the side waves, forcing someone to respond to them. So you can push in.
Theoretically, it should be KRX that have tempo control, right? At this point, because they're the team that has the soul point. Giving them Hextech Soul will be pretty ludicrous. And so therefore, they can play around the Baron if they would like to, give up a soul point for Hanjin Brion, and just allow them to have that extra big buff to close out the map. Right now, teleport comes in. Teleport in for both of the top laners, as that's a Meganar joining the fight, but Rich is going to immediately transform back. So probably a good time for the bros to start pushing forward, fishing for Qs here, as we can see. And the dragon has now spawned. Tibbers comes on through on top of Casting, but Casting isn't too worried about it. And there is the Chains of Corruption as well, not really doing too much. Casting goes in as he's just fighting UCAL at the moment as well, looking for some Cyclone value as Teddy's pushed immediately out of the fight. Down goes Andal already as LazyFeel keeps himself alive. A massive gnaw from Rich into the wall, and he may have just saved it. Decent sidesteps here as well as another anchor goes wide, and now it's LazyFeel bouncing into the fight. Down will go the gnaw though as Loki looking for the angle towards UCAL, who gets himself a stun, has another Pyroblast, and I think Hanjin Brion are the team that will take this dragon. But man, it was close. I felt like that could have been LazyFeel's window to win the game, but it just didn't happen.
LazyFeel trying so hard to make it happen, but I just think didn't get the value from the Wukong Annie. You see UCAL ulting Casting. This is just not the target you want to be hunting down. I think trying to deny the flank, and then when they end up going for the Varus here, Teddy gets a lot of damage down, gets a great flash, and Loki moves to peel. You see they're both moving in, Rich and Willa, but Rich gives up to go for this big Meganar, which makes sense, but it means Willa just dies alone, and Teddy can move back into the fight, and he's this big damage threat that they need, so he chunks out Rich, and LazyFeel can't really step into 3 members in the GA revive. Despite LazyFeel doing so much, I think it was just the split engage from multiple members. It felt like Rich, Willa, and UCAL were kind of all independent in that fight when you really want to be in sync together to blow up these key targets. And now, 6,500 gold lead. this much late in the game, not as significant as when we saw it earlier, but the fact they've tied those 3 dragons is pretty huge. And the stats from the triple Hextech Soul, you know, we saw Teddy getting a lot of autos in that fight with the Hail of Blades, but also just the attack speed from the Hextech Dragons.
Yeah.
Really nice, as well as the ability haste, just good for everyone. I mean, a lot of these champions of this game from Hanjin Brion appreciate both of those stats.
They really do. And they're going to really appreciate a Hextech Soul as well if they can collect that in 3.5 minutes. Right now, though, looking to just try and get some Baron value. Rebel Baron power play up to 2,000 gold at this point. And slowly but surely, our dreams of a Game 3 are slipping away as it just feels like Hanjin Brion are too strong. And maybe, just maybe, they're going to equalize the scoreline with Genji, which I know is it's early season, weird stats that happens, but it's fun, man. 3rd place, Hanjin Brion? Oh, what a world we live in.
LazyField picking up Azonia's, so they did add sizable AP ratios to Kalista. There was an AP Kalista trend going around for a bit after they did this.
Oh, yeah.
So, not the worst in terms of like the AP ratio value. Obviously, you're taking it for the active, right?
Yeah.
You are at least getting some value from the AP on it into the Ren damage. So,
I mean, Teddy has all of the items, though.
yeah, he really does. The Bastion Breaker as well. That one hits.
Yeah. It's just he's doing a lot of the boom boom as Rich is in the bottom lane right now as KRX are looking to try and just get around Hanjin Brion, find themselves an angle of approach, but they are just going to lose their inhibitor turret. Base broken now as Hanjin Brion are just a wrecking crew. Rotating around the map, taking all these structures. They haven't taken an inhibitor just yet, but it feels like a matter of time, especially with this Baron still there for 30 seconds. Gideon clearing out vision, making the map as dark as possible, as Willa feeling like he might be pressured into making something happen, but I think this inhibitor is not long for the world, as now there is a Gnar being discovered, and oh, there goes Loki. So now, 5 versus 4 in favor of KRX for a little while.
Yeah, it's a good pick, because even when the Baron's about to time out and a lot of the damage to the base has been done, this gives them a window where KRX can kind of free up, push out waves, and also start to get some vision around the Dragon area. Just a nice pick from Rich to follow
using
up there.
the dead turret as well. That was really clean.
Secured for Yukon. I know gold not the most prominent thing on the mind at this point in the game, but definitely a nice little influx. Hopefully he gets to spend that. But yeah, it's a minute on that Hextech Dragon, and now it gives a window for KRX to push out a bit and test some vision.
Yukon really needs to take care of Tibbers a little bit more, as Teddy has massive amounts of gold. He's 3,000 ahead of LazyField and has the most in the game. Most damage as well. My goodness, what an incredible performance. I was actually feeling like it was going to be a Gideon or bust type POM, and it might still be if he does go for this little play, but it does not actually happen. Teddy is looking like an absolute monster in this game.
Flash wasn't quite up as well. That would have been crazy play to go for.
Oh, Yukal looking for the angle there onto Casting. Casting now looking to turn it himself. Dash Cannon does get Yukal out of the way, and he's just dead. And now the rest of KRX are falling as well. It's a double here for Gideon. As he heard me talking about Teddy challenging his POM, he's like, no, 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 no. This one's mine. And you know what? If I had a vote, I'd probably vote for you, but I don't. So you'll have to convince someone else. Still, absolutely fantastic performance. Is this just going to be the end? It feels like a whimper. I was promised big team fight until the end of the game.
I think this could just be it. They're going to push in. It's really hard to defend 3v5 right now. Still a lot of big ults available as well for Hanjin Brion.
Yep, and there are 2 inhibitors now down as well. They're going to be reinforced as Andel taking so much damage. Does manage to keep himself alive, at least for the moment, as LazyField bouncing around the fight and avoiding a lot of this CC right now as he dashes. Gideon, so many sticks, and he's brought down to the GA. LazyField not going to be going down without a fight as Hanjin Brion look to exit on the northern side of the base.
LazyField actually saving the game there. You know, some slick hiding, dodging a lot of skill shots. I think if any of those connect, it is just game over. So is able to save the game for the time being. And now they're rushing to Dragon.
Yeah. Oh, no. Hanjin Brion, I mean, there's only one Nexus turret.
Just tip us a wave, tip us a wave.
Drop it, Yukal. You're going to need to. Oh dear, teleport does come on in. Everyone is backing. They're not going to take the dragon. Tibbers is actually on top of all of the pros, and Yukal, he goes golden this time. They take down Loki as all of KRX TRX make their way back in. And Andal is able to get the knockups really nicely. Teddy goes down, only 2 left alive. Rich chasing after casting. Is this going to be our delivery of a 3rd game in this series as Hanj and Breon are wiped out? As KRX TRX, they all came back to protect their mid laner and their base.
And a huge overstep. Hanj and Breon thought they had the game in their hands. They couldn't get to Dragon in time, so like, cool, we'll just go for the end. But the backdoor bonus ends up coming in. The waves are cleared out too quickly. Now, though, looking for...
Oh, I thought the Gideon was just going to, like, blind blast cone into the back of the pit.
Okay,
would have been absolutely crazy.
Ren plus Willa, there's no way.
Oh, yeah, there's no way.
Soul secured for TRX.
Wait, does this mean that TRX now they don't have any Nexus turrets?
So this was game saving from Lazyfield. Managed just to dodge away here. The skill shots were aimed at Andal, but they can't hit on him. He's probably just dead. And then another dredge line there.
He just avoids basically everything.
Yeah, just playing it so well. Gets the Rend onto the Lee Sin and then kites it out. And they're like, cool, we don't have a wave anymore here. The Tibbers clears the wave, so the backdoor bonus comes in. The Zhonya's is actually, I'm not even sure if it came in time. The turret just gets melted. But either way, the team are there in time.
Yeah.
So, you know, turret gets shredded, Yukal goes down, but the team are there to recover.
Well, Hanj and Breon are now looking for another Baron, and Willer is at least here. Depth Charge is going to get rid of him. Chains of Corruption does go wide, but that buys them enough space. And a second Baron comes in for Hanj and Breon into the sold up KRX TRX.
So you have the Baron for 3 minutes. You have super minions pushing in top and bot, and you have an inhib in the mid lane.
Do you know what this Baron is for? It's for buying time for the Gentleman's Elder Dragon flip.
I think, I'm being honest, if I'm Hanj and Breon, I think I try and set up a game end now, but that inhib's respawning top.
And there is the Nexus turret number 1.
Yeah, I think you have to play around the empowered minions. The problem is, being a Hextech soul, so easy to set up a fight, so easy to start a fight if someone gets slowed, chained off the minions. But Hanj and Breon really want to push this game to a close now.
I mean, Yukal really wants to flash on someone. You can feel it.
Yeah, and the Hextech Soul's permanent, so, you know, once this Baron time's out, you don't really have anything to show for it if you haven't been able to progress the game. And it's looking like they just don't see the angle. The slows keep chaining, like, no, this feels uncomfortable. We don't like it.
Yeah,
they back away.
They're also pushing up the only lane that still doesn't have an inhibitor for another minute as well. So probably wanting to get some other lanes in order so at least they can challenge for some of these inhibs. But
so
2 Nexus turrets now back up and available.
It's so dangerous with the base gates there to try and push in because it just sets up the flanks so easily. It being hex gates as well does not help. There's so many easy angles onto the back line. And Hanj and Breon just in a really dangerous position right now.
Which is crazy because, like, KRX TRX have lost every single one of their turrets this game.
Turrets are overrated.
Well, I guess so. Because they've only taken 3.
You know, they haven't lost a single Nexus this game, and I think that's the main thing to focus on.
In fact, both teams are even on Nexuses.
Oh, actually,
or
yeah.
Nexus. Oh, wait, no, Bro ahead. They've killed 1. But that's not this game.
In this game, they're even.
Yeah.
I think is what we're establishing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's crazy. KRX TRX haven't even broken the tier 2 tower. I think if that game ended into, you know, their death had happened and there was a bit more structure damage, I think maybe there's an avenue where KRX TRX, if the waves are pushed up, could have gone for the end. But there's just so many structures still alive.
And
so,
also,
like, now we can't.
And Teddy's lead is now completely meaningless, right? Because, like, Lazyfield sold his wits end for a Terminus.
Yeah.
Like, already.
Wait,
like, we're swapping items now.
He can buy the stat anvils, right? That's a thing.
Oh, there we go. Namgung is going to be able to find Willa. Maybe this is the angle, as they might be able to get his GA at least. However, he gets himself out of the way. Good flash from Andal to keep him alive, but that is now that on cooldown. And Yukal looks for it, but actually doesn't pull the trigger. Gets the flash out of Teddy, though, and that is a huge deal. But remember, everything is open. Your house has no walls, KRX TRX. So they do need to get back to stop these inhibitors from all falling.
Going for the flank. He's looking for the angle. This is so dangerous.
Well, first inhib is going to fall. As Kium DRX looking to try and close in. There's the flash tip, is under 3! And down goes Teddy already. Lazy Village is standing and delivering. Hostile takeover is incredible. And Gideon is going to get caught out. There is the kickback onto Willa, but that does nothing at all. Casting is desperately trying to defect towards the other side of the rift. And we are delivered 3 games in the most beautiful way possible. It's a full ace from Kium DRX. And I was talking about Gideon getting POM. Give it to you, Cal, for that play.
The more we doubted, the more we just knew it was guaranteed.
Oh, yeah.
It had to happen. This streak continues. And Kium DRX keep their chances of getting their first win of this season alive. 5-0 in that final fight. And they will take down
Brew. What an incredible time to be alive, Orcs. The Nexus goes down from 3 turrets to a Nexus destroyed. Kium DRX even out the series. Another series that could be just as crazy immediately afterwards. But we're not focusing on that. Teddy did so much damage, but guess what? None of that damage was against the enemy Nexus. Look at this heart monitor of a gold.
But look, they lost the gold lead at like 7 or 8 minutes. And they never got it back.
No.
가보자 이거. 뒤에 한번 쪼여보자. 거기에 바로스. 오케이.
나 집 갔다가 내 위치.
야 애니 오고 있다 이거. 야 바로스 높여 와봐. 바로스 높으랴. 맞다 저쪽에. 천천히 이거 가봐. 알았어. 야 오라라. 오라. 리시. 야 라이츠 끝나. 나이스. 잘했다. 라켓이 했잖아. 잘했다. 그랬다. 잘했습니다. 라켓이 했잖아. 삐도 했어. 잘 막았다 삐라.